Well, good morning, everybody. Nick McGinnis here with Meadow Green Farm. Wanted to do a video today on 3 things that I think can help facilitate regenerative, we'll call it year-round grazing in Nova Scotia. And I don't mean year-round grazing as in the cows are just eating stockpile forage. I mean they're out on the pasture, they're eating some stockpile. We're still figuring out our management systems and learning how to graze properly. So we don't have a big stockpile of forage like we should and what we're hoping to have next year. So 3 things. We're staging the bales ahead of the cows. And you know, when our bales get dropped off in the fall, we're shuttling these out on hay wagons, or having the hay producer drive out with his tractor while the ground is still dry. Throw the bales off the trailer and put them up along the fence line. And preferably we're putting those bales up on logs so they're not sitting on the ground. And for various reasons, we didn't have enough logs cut this year to properly store all these bales. So a lot of them are on the ground and we're feeding them first. So number 1, stage your bales, because once the wet weather comes, it can be quite difficult to get a tractor out on your pasture. And even if you can get it, you're going to do a lot of damage. You're going to create ruts, compact the soil. It's just not a good strategy if you're trying to build soil health. Number 2 is if you're dividing your pastures using temporary posts, which we do, you need to make sure that those posts are set out before the ground freezes. Now, we've been lucky enough this year that the ground only froze for a couple days and has since thawed. But every other year, really, the ground has been frozen by mid-January, and usually there's a couple inches of snow to a foot or more of snow. But not the case this year. It's been wet and mild. So setting out these temporary posts while the ground is still thawed out is important. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to divide your pastures up. And the third thing that I think is key is having the right animal. Smaller frame cattle. These are Red Poll Hereford mix. This heifer's Red Poll Hereford mix. And most of the cows here are that same mix, or they're straight Red Poll. They're shorter than most of your conventional commercial breeds, stockier, and they have a hardy winter hair coat, so they can withstand being out in the elements. Now, that's not to say that in the middle of a -20 blizzard, you'd want them out in this wide open field. But right now, you know, it's 1 degree Celsius. A field like this with limited shelter is great. And this is actually our best drained field. So after the wet weather we've been having, this is actually a perfect spot for them. Very limited amount of damage being done to the ground. Have a look at this. This is a Black Angus steer. It was out of a Black Angus cow sired by a Red Devon. Another one of those older English breeds. And these breeds were developed, Red Poll, Red Devon, going back to about 1800. So you know they were developed well before conventional agriculture, when livestock like cattle was kept in barns over the winter. So they have that pedigree that allows them to thrive in the outdoor environment year-round. And this one's sired out of the same Red Devon, out of a Shorthorn, nice steer, probably about 1,000 pounds. And we'll be butchering him in the spring. Get a nice green flush on in May, and probably butcher right around the start of June. So here's another Red Poll Hereford mix heifer. These animals have been outside all year. They've never been in a barn, and you can just see, look at the nice body condition. They're clean. That's another nice thing. So just a short video detailing 3 things that we're doing on the farm: setting up our fence before the ground freezes, staging our hay bales out on pasture before things get too wet and machine access isn't possible, and finally, the breed of cattle. Stick to your heritage breeds, your older breeds that are developed before conventional agriculture. That's a pretty good tip. And you'll have animals that can adapt and thrive in an outdoor environment.